Okay, so we are gonna go over exam 2. And before we do, I'm gonna go over the um, like solving a linear equation is what it is. It's what the last thing you sent me a video of that I told you that it would probably be better for me to do a video of it. So I'll do that first and then we'll do some of exam 2 in this video. So there we go. Okay, so first thing. So if I have an equation 3x minus y equals 6. If this is like a less than or greater than sign, it's the same thing, right? I'm just going to do equal in this case. So you've been confused, and that's my bad because I tell you when something's attached, you divide it. So the reason I tell you that is because when something's attached, it's usually being multiplied. So when I want to get something to the other side of the equation, I have to do the opposite of what's happening to it. So in this case, if I'm solving for y, I need to get y by itself, right? So I have to get this 3x. I got to have it get it all over to the other side. Now the 3x is not attached to the y. It's not being multiplied, right? It's being added or subtracted. And so when I add or subtract something, then I do the opposite to bring it over. So in this case, I'm going to subtract 3x. And the reason it's subtract, even though this is minus, right here, this 3x is a positive, okay? So it matters what's in front of it. So because that's a positive, I'm going to subtract it. Because then I have 3x subtract 3x cancels it out, right? And so then I subtract 3x to this side. So then I'm left with negative y equals 6 minus 3x. Okay, so that's how you have to look at it. Even though like the 3 is attached, I'm not just getting rid of the 3. I need to get rid of this whole 3x. And the whole 3x isn't being multiplied by the y. It's not attached to the y, right? So then in this situation, if I have, let's say 2x equals 6, and I'm solving for x. In this case, I have 2 times x, and I need to get rid of that 2. So in that case, I divide by 2, because then I have 2 divided by 2 cancels out. So I would have x equals 3 here. I didn't finish this problem, right? Because we have this negative, and I don't want a negative y. So then that's like saying negative 1y. And again, negative 1 is being multiplied by y, so I have to divide by negative 1. And then divide by negative 1 over here. So then my answer is negative 6 plus 3x. Okay? So let's do one more. That's more complicated. If I have 3x minus 2y equals, let's do 5x plus 2, and I'm solving for y. So I'm gonna solve this in a way that I learned in elementary school, not elementary school, junior high. That might helpful. So I was always taught to circle the equal sign and draw a line down the middle. And this just helps me know it has to be equaled on both sides. Then the next thing I do is let me think. I'm going to circle what I'm solving for. So I'm solving for the y. Then I do one underline with the coefficient. And the coefficient, we're about to learn this, but the coefficient is whatever is attached to whatever we're solving for. In this case, it's y. Or when I say attached, what I mean is multiplied. It's whatever is being multiplied, okay? Whatever is right next to it. Then I'm going to double underline the rest of the step, whatever's being added and subtracted, okay? On this side, the equal sign, I'm not worrying about any of that, okay? Because I want to get y by itself. So basically, I am looking at the stuff that I have to get rid of on this side to get y by itself. So basically what I was taught in junior high is that you solve an equation going 2, 1, 0. So you start with the doubled underlined, then you start with the one underlined, and then you're left with what is left over. But you don't need to worry about that if that's confusing. So my first step here is dealing with this 3x. Now, when I'm solving for y, this 3x here is not attached. It is not multiplied to y. It's being added or subtracted. So what I need to do is I need to subtract 3x. And remember, I'm subtracting because I've got a positive here. If this was a negative out here, then I would add it. And then what I do to this side, I have to do to that side. So now I'm left with negative 2y, and then 5x minus 3x is 2x plus 2. Now I have to deal with this negative 2. And this negative 2 is being multiplied by the y. It is touching it, it is attached to it, so I need to divide by negative 2. What I do to this side, I have to do to the other side. So I'm left with y equals negative 2 2x divided by negative 2 plus 2 divided by negative 2. And I can simplify this to be negative x minus 1. And that's my answer. So hopefully that helps. That is the reason why you aren't ever dividing this 3x. Even though the 3 is attached to the x, it's not attached to the y, which is what we're trying to solve for, okay? When you're bringing the 3 and x over, let me show you one more example. Okay. So let me show you one more example that may or may not help. Hopefully it'll help. I shouldn't say that. Okay. Okay, so if I have 3x parentheses 2 minus y equals, let's say 5. Okay, so I want to solve for y, okay? So that y is what I want to solve with. So you could multiply this 3x in, and that's totally fine. But where this 3x is being multiplied by all of this, an option would be to divide by 3x. And the reason why you see how the 3x here is touching, it's attached to these parentheses and all of this inside, that's why we can divide that. So we could divide the 3x like that. And then you'd be left with 2 minus y equals 5 divided by 3x. And this is a complicated one. Well, it's not complicated. We can finish it. I should finish it. So now, okay, I still got to get rid, I want to get y by itself, so I have to get rid of this 2. This 2 is not attached to the y, it's being added or subtracted, right? So I got to subtract 2. So I'm left with negative y equals 5 over 3x minus 2. And then we know when we have a negative y, it's like saying negative 1y. Sorry, my computer keeps unsharing the screen. Okay, so then I just divide by negative 1 is what I was saying, and divide by negative 1. So this, I mean, it's not the neatest answer, but hopefully you get the idea. So the whole reason why you don't, in your specific problem, I think it was 3x that you're wondering about, and you're solving for y. And the reason why you don't divide it is because it's not being multiplied by the y. It's being added or subtracted. It's not attached to the y, right? The 3 is attached to the x. So you could just divide the 3, but the 3x together, that's not multiplied by anything. It's not attached to anything. It's by itself. So hopefully that makes sense. Okay, I'm going to start going over this exam 2 review, but my computer continues to freak out. I'm going to stop and wait till Jeff is home so I can use his. So this is exam 2. Just a heads up, when I looked over the previous finals, there's not a lot of exam 2 on the finals. I'm cautious with saying that because you never know. And there definitely are problems. Like, it's going to be important that you know some of this, but it seems like the finals have been more emphasized on like exam 1 and exam 3. So